Good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Beeson, Exeter Parks and Recreation, and welcome to the Planet Playground Reinvented public information presentation. Thank you for having interest in our new Planet Playground. As you know, an iconic playground is hard to replace. We've been tedious in looking at replacing Planet Playground with a universal design, and we're happy to have three panelists here today: Robert Pettinelli from Miracle, Travis Arms from Game Time, and Jason Corbett from Little Tykes. How we got here. Planet Playground was built in 1998 as a community build. This wooden playground was designed to be ADA compliant at the time. Times have changed, and now the town must change with times. In March of 2016, Exeter Parks and Recreation had Planet Playground inspected by Leathers and Associated, which helped with the construction. One of the conclusions was the wooden structures should be replaced with a powder-coated steel manufactured apparatus. Among other necessary safety compliance modification, the current playground wood is deteriorating. Several items have been removed due to damage and unsafe conditions, as well as playground standards have changed tremendously. But we have some challenges. The current status of the property. The town does not own the property Planet Playground sits on. It has been under a lease agreement that has since expired. The new owners of the property is open to negotiating with the town on the purchase of the property. The town cannot invest on such a large playground unless it is under the town control. This project is eligible for Land, Water, and Conservation Fund grant through the U.S. federal government, with the award max of $500,000. The goal of creating a new playground is universal design. When we rebuild Planet Playground, we need to make sure we meet the needs of all of our residents. What is a universal playground design, you ask? Well, the multiple forms of play, the multi-purpose game settings, and range of physical elements found in many playgrounds is critical for social and motor development. Sensory play is beneficial to all children while allowing those with disabilities to play alongside abled children. What brought us here? A little timeline. We started this process back this spring in April. We had a survey with several elements that playgrounds would often see, making sure we had a lot of ADA accessible elements. We had 367 respond to that survey. That data was then sent to our representatives for the largest manufacturers of playgrounds. They all took that data and submitted a design to the Exeter Parks and Rec in June of 2022. July of 2022, the community selected the top three. And now we are here in August to go over the designs and see what we have in store for the new Planet Playground. Our next step, once a selection is picked, the design will be brought to the Rec Advisory Board for their endorsement that will later go on to the Select Board in our budget season. We are applying for LWCF. The application process is now opened. LWCF offers a 50% match. And then the budget season, this has been submitted into our 2023 capital improvement plan for the town with a possible vote in March of 2023. So tonight we have three playground manufacturers with us. Robert Pettinelli from Miracle and Pettinelli and Sons, Game Time, Travis Arms, and Little Tykes with Jason Corbett. These are all conceptual designs, and designs are subject to slight modifications within our budget. We are keeping tight budgets because we have a lot of things that will need to go into the completion of this project. I'm going to now, hold on. First up is Robert Pettinelli. I am going to help Robert here. Bob, you want to do the video first? You're muted. All right, let's start this.
I didn't know I was muted. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Bob.
Okay, the playground was designed to be an all-inclusive playground for people with disabilities and able-bodied kids to play together. We have a inclusive whirl that's in poured rubber, so wheelchairs can get on the merry-go-round and the kids can play with their friends, disabled or not disabled. Nets and climbers that are accessible, as well as some ramps to get up on the system. And then we made it. We wanted to mimic the iconic rocket ship that was in the middle of the park. So we made this spaceship that looks similar to what was there, with some high decks at 12 foot tall with 30 foot long slides. So it's accessible to everyone as well as exciting to everyone. We also put some like extra climbers that are a little harder to do and easy to do at the same time, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But it has a rail on the bottom. If you come around the other picture, flip to the other picture.
Okay. Put up where you, Bob? Hold on. Sorry. This one?
Yes. If you see the overhead climber to the bottom right, that white looks like little white rectangles, that's got a bar on the bottom, so little kids could shimmy when they're doing overhead climbing. When they don't have the upper body strength, they could shimmy their hands, and it's got little rocks. So if you have upper body strength or you're a rock climber, you can climb it with your fingertips. So it's the best of both worlds. It's for little kids and it's for big kids and real strong kids and real weak kids at the same time. And a lot of our components are similar to that. They incorporate easy access and easy use as well as difficult use. So you can play on it when you're younger. When you get older, you grow into the larger use of the playground. And then the tower, you're going to be able to see most of the surroundings from that tower. The sit down or the stand up platform on the top is 12 foot tall, so you'll be able to see the surrounding area of the park as well. And the roof tower is magnificent. It's 10 foot circle and it's about 12 foot tall. So the total height of that tower is about 25 feet. So it makes a statement as well as functional, fun, exciting, and safe all at once. So that's about my presentation.
Bob, a couple of questions, this for the audience. Looking at highlighting all of these, and I'm going to pull up this image because this is a good one as well. Oh, yeah, open. Okay. When we talk about universal design, how many playgrounds you've created with your company that have the universal design in there that are ADA and accessible and really meets all the aspects that we're looking for?
I did how many have I done in my history? The first one.
More for universal, like the universal designs that make
the first universal design I did was for Crotchet Mountain Rehab up in Greenfield or Greenland, and that was 20 years ago, before anyone knew what an inclusive playground was. And I put platforms that were raised up. If it was a 3 foot platform, I put a 1 foot riser plate with another deck and put a slide on it. So if somebody was transferring off their wheelchair, they didn't have to go to the ground to go down the slide. They had their own platform for it, which was unique. Nobody paid it any mind. 20 years later, everybody's doing inclusive playground. So it wasn't my idea, it was their idea, but I did do the first inclusive playground about 20 years ago. Then I've done one in Williston, Essex, all over the place, probably a couple dozen of them in my career. But I never really called them inclusive till just recently when they put a label on it.
Yeah. Inclusive and universal are the new terms that I've been learning the last year over this project. So we love the design. We would like to thank you for submitting the design and really putting the effort in to keep homage to Planet Playground. Again, we were very appreciative of that. If I had any other input, I will be able to send it to you. But one of the things I would say, I love it. And I think all of these designs are great. So anyone that has questions on the Miracle Playground, you can email me again at recreation@exeternh.gov.
Yeah, one more thing, Greg. The brown pathways didn't come out very good, but it's a semicircle that encompasses the beginning of the ramp and the musical instruments and the whirl, and then it has paths to go all the way to other ADA things to make it easier for the wheelchairs. But you can't see it very well on this drawing. On the cartoon, you can see it all, but you can't see it good on this. So if anybody wants to know why that looks all jumbled, that's the reason.
Well, thank you for pointing that out. And again, this is the Miracle. This is one of the options, and I'll have the website at the end that you guys can go on and vote. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And
I'll move myself.
Yep, mute yourself and shut off your camera. Next up is Travis. Thank you, Travis. Travis from Game Time. And Travis, feel free to share your screen.
Okay, thank you, Greg. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. I had to change the settings on my computer. Sorry to share the screen. I might have to, it looks like I have to quit and reopen. Can Jason go second?
Sure. Jason, you mind hopping in?
Dude, I don't mind.
All right.
All right. So I will see. Hopefully, I don't have the same issue. I'm going to try to share my screen.
That seems to be working.
All right. You can see my screen.
Yep.
Good. All right. So thanks for having me. Jason Corbett, Little Tykes Commercial Playground. And in coming up with a theme for Planet Playground in Exeter, I wanted to really utilize all my resources. Two great resources I have besides the Little Tykes commercial name is Unlimited Play and our custom design studio. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about them and what they are and what they do. So our custom design studio is really just a team of CAD experts, great at taking a vision or an idea and making it come to life and making it into a playground with all the certifications and safety measures that are needed. So they've done a great job at creating a rendering and then making it come to life. So I just wanted to share this real quick because as you see the renderings, I want you to know that as we create this and really make it into equipment that they're going to be consistent. So here's an idea of a concept and then the reality, one more concept and reality. And I just wanted to show off that, you know, they're very similar. You're not getting a rendering and then a product that's not matching the design. The other partner I used is Unlimited Play. Unlimited Play is a partner of Little Tykes Commercial. They're an award-winning nonprofit that focuses on inclusive play and creating inclusive playgrounds for children of all abilities. There's a ton of information online and tearjerker videos that I'm not going to share, but if anybody wanted more information, the link unlimitedplay.org is at the top of this slide. You can Google it as well. So Unlimited Play has a goal to have an inclusive playground in every state and section of the U.S. and Canada. They started about 4 or 5 years ago, and have the blue states are where they have playground. The green is where they have them planned. I highlighted New England. Massachusetts has one certified inclusive play playground, and they want to cover the whole area. So here's the design, and I actually submitted this design to Unlimited Play. And what Unlimited Play is looking for is they want it to be wheelchair accessible. They want it to be a place where able-bodied children and children of special needs can play side by side. It may be great to have a huge climber and a huge ladder, but if a child in a wheelchair ain't making it up there, then it's really not what Unlimited Play is looking for. They're looking for ramps, and more ramps, less stairs, less to no stairs at all. And what we have here is we have two sections. You have your 2 to 5 play area and 5 to 12-year-old play area. The sections in between would be 2 to 12. So ideal for designed for all ages. And the 2 to 5 ramp structure comes all the way up, and you can access all levels of the structure on a wheelchair. And similar to what Bob was saying, we do have the transfer deck here. So as a wheelchair comes up, a child can transfer to the transfer step and not have to crawl on the ground to go down the slide. Additionally, on the 5 to 12 playground, the ramp structure comes up, around, all the way without a child in a wheelchair or anybody getting around needs to backtrack and turn around. They're able to access the full cycle and full area of the playground equipment. There is an additional ramp back up here to a 48-inch deck, and climbers and nets and slides over here with another transfer step. Additionally, there is a side-by-side zip line and an inclusive spinner that I'm going to show a little bit more too. So I'm happy to announce that Unlimited Play did certify this design, and it would be the first Unlimited Play certified inclusive playground in the state of New Hampshire. And that's something, if we move forward, to be proud of. That's something that what that means is you're going to be on their website. You'll be listed as a certified inclusive play playground. This would be people from all over New England coming here for a destination playground. Not just great for the parents and families in town, but also local businesses. That's going to draw some attention and people visiting the area. So here's the design. Planet Playground, an overhead 3D view. I'm going to talk about it real quickly. So here's our mission control. This is overlooking our 2 to 5 structure that's ramped. And our mission control is a custom sensory panels. You have great tactile and imaginary play here as the children are looking at the space themed playground. They can play and pretend they're controlling everything going on. As we look here, the rocket ship, that's the iconic symbol. And talking to a couple people from the community as I was there visiting, and even some people I know personally, they talked about what Planet Playground meant to that area and the kids growing up. And I really wanted to keep that rocket ship as the central point and theme of the playground. Even up here as well, there's a little panel with mountain and oceans. And as you're touching each tactile piece, you're going to get a sound that goes along with it. There's the sound of a waterfall, sound of birds playing. So there's a lot of detail in here. So back to kind of what Unlimited Play was looking at. They want the ramp structures. They want children in wheelchair to be able to access the full range of the activities in the playground. This zip line, you have 2 sections. You have your traditional post and platform for a child, whether to sit or stand. But then we also have an ADA inclusive seat for a child that may not have the upper body strength or may need a little more support to ride side by side with children. So it's a lot of side by side play, making sure everybody's involved. Over here is the inclusive spinner, wheelchairs and able-bodied children, and there's even a seat on there for people to access. Again, on the 2 to 5 structure, you have our rocking mechanism, so children in wheelchairs, and we'll work together to move this back and forth. Just your balance and standing and shifting your weight will make this move great little motion experience and teamwork and social as well. The port-in-place rubber, the stars and the moon that are in here, it's already included in what I budgeted. These will be glow in the dark. So the rubber pellets would charge from the sun during the day and glow at night. Not so much, to promote nighttime play, but more just safety, visual, kind of cool little experience as well. And there is actually a little bit room in the budget if we wanted to add a couple more stars throughout the playground. And shade. One of the things early on that I was asked to try to include here was a shade area with seats. And seeing the site and seeing that it was full of trees, I didn't see a good place for a shade structure. So I incorporated into the actual playground being the center of the area. There's not really trees in the center, but this gives some extra shade to probably the sunniest spot of the site, and helps kids be a little more comfortable as they are playing. Grand Strand. This is the back of the area. Anytime you're doing an inclusive playground, the biggest challenge is how do you make it inclusive and exciting? And so what I did in creating this design is, yes, you do have wheelchair access up to the top, but what you're getting with these net climbers in back, there's the Grand Strand here, and there's a net clubhouse on the other side. You're getting ground level play, you're getting side-by-side play, so children of all abilities can be involved. Nets are also ADA accessible, so it makes it an accessible way to get up, and it's connected to the ramps as well, so children can access it from multiple sides with a large 8-foot slide here. Oh, and I'm going to show this real quick too. I think I am. Yeah. So this is a little 3D image of our Grand Strand. So our Grand Strand is focused on a little bit the older spectrum of the 5 to 12-year-old. The Grand Strand is great for balance, upper body development and strength, and it's also a great social area. You have a large rope here. It's like a 5-inch rope for hanging out and playing. You have platforms throughout, and a large slide at top. So you have that reward of sliding down and experiencing the climb and the travel back down as well. The solar system, Planet Playground. So what I did is I tried to incorporate, and I did incorporate all 8 planets of the solar system. They are colored similar to the actual planet and how it appears on a telescope. And the size is similar as well. There was a couple discrepancies because I had to make it work. But as you see, these planets in here, you've got all 8, which are here. So it's also an educational experience. This is a good view of the planets that are throughout the playground, and kids can play and explore and learn about the planets as well. Some other details, I thought this UFO was a cool little fun. It'll aid in imaginary play, and also you can go in it, you can go on it, you can go under it. These wobble spheres, these actually are on a 3-point axis, so they wobble, they spin, and they rotate. As you're doing this, 3 of these throughout here. I actually thought they kind of looked like planets, and felt it was a good little match with this. Great view of the rocket ship. When you come up the first deck of this 5 to 12 structure, this diamond climber are nets inside. So the children would climb the nets to get to an additional 8-foot platform to a spiral slide, and the other a seat and some other activities along with the rocket theme throughout here. Here's a little close-up of that rocket ship climbing, and you can see you can go underneath as well, and the planets down below. Options, as we go through this process, there may be tweaks, there may be requests. For example, this space training center, we can change the image, we can make it Exeter training, we can make it Planet Playground. That's all included in the budget already, so we could customize this a little bit more without adding to the cost. And our moon rover, so this motion rocker, we designed it as a moon rover to add to the theme of the playground and imaginary and creative feel of what Planet Playground was meant to be and what everybody feels about it. So this is how it all comes together. This is my overhead video. I'll go ahead and play that. Don't know if you can hear the volume or not, but I'm gonna try not to talk over it. There we go. So thanks for let me talk a little bit about my design, and I hope everybody, hope everyone enjoyed it. There's a lot more to this, but just wanted to highlight some of the main features and partners that I worked with to get this done. Open it up for any questions.
Well, thank you, Jason. And I don't know if you know, we are actually we have a UFO festival here on Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
Because Exeter is known for UFO sightings. Another interesting fact about Exeter. Jason, just like I asked Bob, like how many you've been in this field a long time. Mm-hmm. How often have you been? How many playgrounds have you been that are universal design that you've helped create?
Yeah, I did, for example, I did 3 last year. I have a school community that has 5 elementary schools and a public park, Sudbury, Massachusetts. And just this year, we completed their final school project, and they took every one of their schools to a fully inclusive playground with ramps and port in place for each of their schools. So they've been a great partner of mine in learning how to better support inclusive playgrounds, but 2, getting involved in promoting inclusive playgrounds as well, and unlimited play has been a great asset as well to help me with those projects.
Well, again, thank you again from the residents of Exeter for submitting an awesome design. I know it's going to be very tough for the residents to pick, but again, Little Tykes definitely came through and created a design that we were looking for. And if anyone has questions, again, you can email or input to me, then I can pass on to our reps, recreation@exeternh.gov. All right, Jason, if you want to stop sharing your screen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll figure it out. How do I stop sharing? Sorry. There we go.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Travis, we good? We're all set?
Well, I hope so. Apologize for the technical difficulties there. Let me.
And I'll just preface this. So in the data we collected, Travis, one of the things that ranked highly was a castle. So if people are wondering what's Game Time's design, a castle did rank very high. And but we love the design, and we'll let you go into it.
Okay, thank you. Is this working now?
Yep.
So just a little overview of what we did. As you mentioned, it is a castle design, and we utilized the feedback provided from the community and went with the castle as the main theme. And we used Game Time's custom arm, which is called Landmark Design, and to come up with the castle. And we'll kind of walk through it. And they customize not just the castle, but an entryway with a drawbridge, and the zip lines have the name of the playground on them, and then traditional equipment. And then with the surfacing, you'll notice that we used a combination of port in place, rubber, and wood fiber, and we put them in the colors to kind of go with the castle theme of port in place as like a river going through, and then around the pieces of equipment that do have the rubber, we utilized greens and brown to symbolize kind of a transition from water to a beach to mud to green grass. So when you see the colors, that's kind of what we were targeting for that. But I'll play this video first, and then can talk a little bit more about the design. So that was the video. I'm going to open up the top view right now. So on the plan view here, it might be a little confusing with the red lines. Those are the safety zones going around the equipment. So you wouldn't actually see those, but you can see the blue port-in-place rubber weaving throughout. And then around the equipment that you saw in the video, there's the brown here that's rubber, and then the green that is rubber as well. So that's what that indicates. So what our goal on this was to create an incredibly unique playground based on the feedback of the wish list that was put together. We up in this area here, we have shade with kind of a little picnic area and some benches here and here. And then, we have a 2 to 5 year old structure with a log crawl through that is made of GFRC, which is glass fiber reinforced concrete. And when you make equipment with GFRC, it allows you make it by hand, and it allows you to really customize and make really unique products. For example, the castle that you saw is GFRC. The stonework on the drawbridge is also GFRC material. So that creates a playground, unlike any other in New England. So this is the zip lines here with a standard seat and then an accessible seat side by side. And then on this side, this is a freestanding net climber. We have swings down here, and then the main structure here, the castle being down here, which has a 10-foot high slide. And then we have 2 towers. One tower goes up to 12 feet high with a slide coming off there. And then this tower here is 8 feet high with slides. And then we have play underneath the decks as well. So I'm going to try to share the photos. So this is these are the same images that we saw in the video, but this way we could kind of focus a little bit on the design. The stonework here is really extremely lifelike. As I mentioned before, these are done by hand, so this creates an incredibly unique playground experience and one that everybody in the region will know about. And then this is kind of an overview. Again, the rubber weaving its way throughout, and then kind of the sand, mud into grass around the equipment. And this is obviously the castle here. Kids can walk up the side and enter into the center of the castle. Wheelchairs and able-bodied children can pass through the bottom of the castle for a very unique experience. Then we have, this is the 8-foot high tower. This is 10 feet high right here where the slide comes off. And then we have 8-foot high over here with under deck play. And then that's a close-up of the 8-foot one tower. And you can see the pass-through on the castle and the stairs going up the side. Then this is the 12-foot high tower with a slide coming off right here up at 12 feet high, and then an underdeck slide at 6 feet high. So there's playing experiences at so many different levels, which really helps keep the interest of the children in the full spectrum of 2 to 12, which was another goal. So here's another view. And you can see the zip lines over here with the custom sign on it. And then the drawbridge location over here. And then, the backside of the castle and with the towers. There's the 2 to 5 structure with the log crawl through. Again, because it's GFRC, it has a really good tactile experience and also lifelike representation. And kind of another overview from a different angle, and the close-up view of the zip lines. Oops. There they are again with the neck climber over here. So as you can see from this, the castle theme is what we went with. There was a high response for that. So we thought this would create a really unique playground for the town of Exeter.
Well, excellent. As I asked the previous two, Travis, could you talk about your experience of creating these universal playgrounds and talk about how involved you've been in the past?
So this is my 27th year, and we've done dozens and dozens. We've done a bunch pretty much all throughout New England, ranging from Randolph, Vermont to Bangor, Maine to Franklin and Dartmouth, Mass. So pretty much all over the place.
Excellent. And again, thank you from the residents of Exeter for submitting an awesome design. I mean, we were blown away with all 7 designs that were submitted, and unfortunately, only one will prevail. And so I'm just going to share my screen quickly if I can. Whoops. Just to give people a little insight on. Input at recreation@exeternh.gov. Voting is now open. You can easily find it right on the front page if I remember right, and I'll have Bob Galacki come in. It is one of the things here. Replacing Planet Playground is right on the front of our webpage, and it's the survey and poll is embedded right in there. Again, option 1, Travis and Miracle. Option 2, option 4 technically, Jason and Little Tykes, and option 5, Robert Pettinelli and Miracle. So please vote. Voting is open till August 31st. And we'd like to thank all of our panelists for taking some time out on a Wednesday night to come join us.
Thank you very much.
So that being it, we do have, let me see, a couple panelists. If any of the panelists have any other questions for the panelist, raise your hand and we will, right, Bob?
There's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screens, and you can type in your questions anonymously or with your name, and they'll pop up to the panelists.
All right, let's open up for questions. And for those watching at home or after this, this will be replayed on Exeter TV on their YouTube channel, and we will be sharing it throughout our Facebook social media so people can really get involved in the details. So, that being said, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Whoop. That. All right. Seeing that there are no questions or answers, I would be curious about the materials and colors used, if any thought goes into how hot they are to touch. All right, who wants to touch that one first? The poured in place. Poured in place is something that people often ask how hot it gets. It is hotter than your traditional wood chips, and we totally understand that, but the Fibar or playground chips are not very wheelchair friendly. We all know they're very tough to even get a stroller through there. So I'll throw it out to each of you in your experiences. How hot do you think the material gets?
Want me to start?
Go ahead, Bob.
It all depends on the color. and most of the EPDM has a can't recall what it is, a UV protection. So it kind of reflects the sun more than absorbs it. Black, if you do black and blue, high concentration of black and blue to save money, it's going to be hot. If you use all yellow, all orange, all blue, it's going to be a lot less hot. But that's unavoidable.
How about you, Travis?
Well, certainly I agree with Bob that, the darker it is, the hotter it gets, just like, clothing on a hot day. But, we do live in a region where, we don't have the heat or the number of days that certainly the deep south would have, or even the mid-Atlantic. So, it might certainly get hot on certain days, but, by and large, on like a 75, 80 degree day, it shouldn't get excessively hot. And then I know New York City ran into a problem when they had like all black tiles, and it was, almost cooking the children's feet. But that's, that shouldn't happen with any of these, these designs.
Jason.
Yeah, the only other thing that I would add is this is a very shady area. You have a lot of trees. Standard playground safety is, a parent to check and touch a slide or touch a surface before a child is going to climb or walk on it. We know that doesn't always happen. And, in looking at this site, like I mentioned, I didn't see a great spot for a shaded area that didn't already have shade, and putting that shade fabric in the middle helps with that, and roofs and shade on the structures help as well. Like the other guy said, it's not something we can control. It's something that we just have to be, good citizens and check the surfaces before kids are playing on them. And especially the rubber, in my experience, has been very minimal, and not minimal, but very minor and not the biggest concern. Slides have been the biggest concern from getting hot, and the lighter colors are in your favor.
It's not the slides we grew up on where they're metal facing the sun. All right, throw back out there. We have any other questions? We're happy to answer. But again, if anyone has questions, concerns, feedback on any of the designs, please recreation@exeternh.gov. That goes directly to me. I'm Greg Beeson, the director, and we'll take that into consideration. But I think one thing that we all agree on is, I always say, no kid left behind playing, and all three of your designs hit that, where I want to see every child with every ability playing on our playground. That being said, then, we have no other questions. Again, thank you everyone for attending. Look for our answer. Voting is open till August 31st. And thank you again, the panelists, for coming and joining us tonight.